All right, JJ, thank you so much, man. After following JJ, and before that, we got Jeff Fallon on here. Good to see you, buddy. We got some crazy energy up in here. This is awesome. So we're going to keep that going throughout. I'll bring it down, right? I'll bring it down from time to time, and we'll bring it back up, and you'll learn at the very end, I'm going to give you a free gift. And there's a reason why I want to bring it down and then bring it back up and bring it down and bring it back up. Okay. So we'll get more into that as we go. But today is all about you. Today is all about your business. And I literally just wrote down a quote by JJ. Get to know the person, not the business entity. That was brilliant. Love that, JJ. Thank you so much for having me on today. And I want to ask everybody, before we get started, how many of you have seen me on stage before? Doesn't really matter if you have or not. I'm just curious. And hold them up because I'm going to go to the next page. Okay, cool. All right. So several of you have, and I'm assuming the rest of you have not. And it's important to know that I used to work with Fortune Builders and Real Flow. I worked with them in several leadership capacities for over 9 years. But I do not work for them for the last several years, last 2 years or so. I have no affiliation with them right now. Not that there's any bad blood at all. I just want you to know that I am a separate entity from Fortune Builders. Kind of a little disclaimer there. But love Fortune Builders. I know most of you here, I believe, are all Fortune Builders or have been in some part of your career. Amazing organization. And I learned a lot and owe a lot to them and a lot of opportunities to get on stage. So again, enough about me. You're going to learn more about me as we go. I want to find out more about you. So we all know that the more that we participate, the more that we actually are going to walk out of here with, right? The more we participate, the more we're going to learn, the more we're going to retain. So I'm going to ask you to chat in the chat box and chat to everyone. Don't just chat to me unless you have something very specific to me or JJ. I want to find out, why did you get into real estate? This should be like 1 or 2 words. Just throw in 1 or 2 words. Why did you get into real estate? Everybody do that now. All right. Best business in the world. Love it. Go a little deeper. Keep going. Love houses. Go a little deeper. What else? What else? All right, family, leave a legacy. Okay, keep going. Security, time, love it. James Civilian, cool name. Wow. Eric, okay, my son, financial freedom, like making money. We all like making money, right? Time, wow, they're going so fast now, I can't get them all. Generational wealth, helping troubled homeowners, absolutely. We're definitely in the business. When you're in real estate, you're in the business of solving people's problems. Make money and give back. Okay, love it. So, let me ask you another question. What do you think is the number one way to grow your business? Put that in the chat. What's the number one way to grow your business? And Leticia, you sent that directly to me, just so you're aware. If you want to send it to everyone, just change it to everyone. All right, networking. Okay, so JJ's been doing a good job, right? JJ's been doing a good job. Now, I'm going to take it a step further and say it goes way beyond networking. Networking is amazing, and it's definitely the number one thing that's going to help you grow your team and grow your opportunities. But I'm going to give you another opportunity to take networking times like 1,000. Networking times 1,000. And I'm going to pull up some slides here. Everybody stay with me, though, because I'm looking at your faces. This is not TV. I can see all of you that are showing your faces. So stay with me here, even when I show slides. And I want to share something really quick here. In the chat, tell me, like, why did you show up today? What were you hoping to get out of today? Put that in the chat. Okay, relationships, growth, ninja tips. All right, give me your hi-ya. All right, effective communication. And by the way, if you have a breakthrough today, something I learned a while back, when you have a breakthrough, when you state it and literally say the word breakthrough, you will experience a more visceral retention of that breakthrough. So I encourage you, I don't know if JJ does this, but if he does, break the rules, come off mute and literally say the word breakthrough.
Breakthrough, Clinton.
Awesome. You can always tell the speakers in the group that do that as a living as well, because they say more than one word, like Mr. Jeff Allen. He said like 7 words. And today is not, and I'm showing the wrong slide. I'm sorry. This is my speaker posse. You know, a lot of you are in the speaker posse already. It's a free Facebook group. If you're not, you're definitely more than welcome to join that. You can just go to speakerposse.com to do that. All right. So today is not about becoming a speaker. It's not about becoming a speaker. Is anybody like freaked out? And I need to kind of scroll through to see. Anybody freaked out by a show of hands when I say If I said you had to become a speaker to be successful in real estate, anybody freaked out? Be honest, show of hands. Okay, a couple hands are going up. Okay, today's not about becoming a speaker. Speaking is the number one way that you can actually grow your business. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Speaking is the number one way that you can grow your business. And we use a lot of the same principles you learned from JJ and from other networking masters. We use the same principles in networking as we do in speaking. A lot of the same principles, okay? We're going to go a little deeper into how you can do this in your business, because today's about not only growth through speaking of your business, but growth of yourself, all right? We all know here, especially being part of this community, JJ's community and the larger Fortune Builders community, we all know that it's all about our own personal growth. It's not just about growing our business, is it? Right? It's about growing ourselves. And it's kind of the same thing. The more you grow yourself, the more your business grows, right? Can I get a yes on that? Give me some nodded heads there at least. All right, beautiful. So today's about doing that. How do we double our deal flow? How do we quadruple our confidence in half the time through speaking? So pop in the chat, anybody that has any fear when you have to go out and network or speak. Let's say you had to stand up and deliver a 1 minute or 2 minute little mini speech about what it is that you do. Put it in the chat. Say yes if you have any challenges with that at all. If you get nervous at all. Go ahead and do that now. Everybody be honest here. Where did my chat go? There it is. All right, they're flowing in. We got a lot of yeses. We got some yes. We got some sometimes. All right, let me share this with you. I've been on thousands of stages all around the world. Just like, Jeff Fallon, he's been all around the world on stages, right? Some of you also that I don't know on here perhaps have as well. Every single time I get on stage, I'm nervous. Every single time. It doesn't go away. It does not go away. That's the bad news. The good news is that there are ways to transmute that energy into inspiration, into passion, into focus, into commitment, into connection and clarity, right? So it can be transmuted and utilized to your advantage and to the advantage of everybody listening. It looks like almost everybody here except one, and I don't know if they're being a jokester here, saying none, not at all, and that's fine. Maybe you don't. That's great. You are an anomaly because I'm a professional keynote speaker and I get nervous every single time I go on stage. And it's not that I'm nervous like I'm scared. It's that I'm excited. And it really comes down to the meaning that we provide and that we share. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. Let me actually write that down because I want to share that. If I forget, somebody ask me later on, I'm going to see if who's paying attention. Ask me to tell you how to transmute that fear. Okay. Ask me how to do that later on. I want to get into the prezo though here so we can get going. So do we all agree, or can we at least try on the idea that speaking is the number one way that we can grow our income and our impact and our influence in our business and our personal life? Can we agree on that? Can we say in the chat, tell me if you agree, just say agree. Even if you don't agree, just say agree that you're going to agree for the next half hour or so that we're together. Okay? Because that's an agreement we need to have. All right, beautiful. Everybody agrees. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. All right. Well, some very smart people out there beyond JJ, beyond myself, have said the same thing. In fact, Warren Buffett, number 4 richest man on the planet. Check it out what he says. He says, speaking is the most important skill that you can learn today. The very most important skill that you can learn today. It doesn't mean you have to become a professional keynote speaker and that's your number one business. It just means you have to become effective at speaking. We're going to talk about that in a moment, what I mean by that. He goes on to say, this one skill will boost your career value by over 50%. And I would say it's even higher than that. Over 50%. I see Eric Campbell shaking his head. Yes, a lot of people are shaking their heads. Good to see you, Eric. Been a long time. I know we met a long time ago, I believe. An investor up in Silicon Valley says speaking is no longer a soft skill. It's not a soft skill anymore, right? If an entrepreneur can't tell a convincing story, he's not investing. And if you cannot have an impactful, connective conversation with a homeowner, are they going to sell you their property? Maybe if they're having a really, really challenging time, but I see a lot of heads going, no, they're not going to feel comfortable, are they? They're just not, right? And our job is to make people, and I say I'm full disclosure again, I'm not really in real estate right now. I've taken a step back and really focused on my speaking and coaching business. But you, as investors, that is the number one thing that you're doing, is connecting with people, helping them feel comfortable and helping solve their problems, right? We're in the people solving, problem solving business. All right. And something that one of my coaches back in the day, one of my mentors actually, has said to me, he says, and I don't want this to sound arrogant at all. I do not want this to, so take the arrogant hat off if you think this, the arrogant glasses off for a second. This is not going to be arrogant. Although I do have the t-shirt. I just got it from National Speakers Association that says, your greatest fear is how I make a living, right? I think it's kind of funny, actually. I thought it was kind of cute. I had to buy that. And it's true. Like, that is most people's greatest fear. Before death is speaking, is the number one fear. Okay. Again, professional keynote speaker. Every time I speak, I'm nervous, but I know how to transmute that energy. We're going to talk more about that later, like I said. But he says this, and this is the part where I want to take the arrogant glasses off. This is not meant to sound arrogant at all, but he or she with the microphone always wins. Okay. He or she with the microphone always wins. Now, you could take that a lot of different ways. So let me put some context around that to make sure you know what I'm talking about. What I mean by that is, when you have the microphone, when you have the stage, when you have the opportunity to share with people, you definitely have the opportunity to make the most money. Typically, if you go in a room, the person with the microphone is probably making the most money, right? If they're in a group, right? The coaches typically are the ones that are up on stage sharing, right? Are they the most successful usually? Usually they are, right? It's the same thing in Fortune Builders. He or she, or they choose to give the microphone to, are generally the most successful. So wouldn't it behoove all of us to get really good in understanding how we can get good on the microphone? Because when we get that opportunity, guess what that then breeds? More opportunity, right? Speaking begets speaking. It begets more speaking opportunities, if that's important to you. And write this down. When you speak, business happens. Write that down. When you speak, business happens. It's a fact. I know some of you are going to want to work with me after this. Some of you are going to hate me. Some of you are going to love me. Some of you are going to want to work with me. I just know that because every time I speak, business happens. And every time you speak, business happens. Okay. So that's what I mean by he or she with the mic always wins. And the other thing is, I know there are some people that hold the microphone that are, dorks that just, they have bad intentions and they do bad things. I'm not talking about those people. Right? I'm talking about the people like all of you on this call and on this video today. We're out to not only make a good living, but we're out to create a legacy for our families, like you said. We're out to have more time to do things that are important to us, to make a bigger impact in the world. Yes or yes? Show me some bobbleheads on that one. Yeah, we are, right? We're here to make an impact. And when you have the microphone, it's not only it's not a right, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. It's a gift to impact people. It's not only an opportunity to make money, but it's a gift and it's an opportunity for you to impact people. So I want you to treat it that way, but I do want you to know and write this down. Speaking is the number one way that you can grow your business. Any business, not just real estate business. I used to mentor with Greg Clement from RealFlow, the CEO of RealFlow. And he used to tell me, this was like 10 years ago, he would say, Clinton, you're not even in the real estate business. This is back when I had a short sale business. He's not even in the real estate business. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, you're in the business of marketing your real estate business. That's the only business you're in. You're not in the real estate business. You're in the business of marketing your real estate business. And speaking is the best way to market. I'm a little biased, but I'm also, I believe, speaking the truth here. So do y'all believe me on that speaking is the number one way to grow your business? All right. I know I've asked that a couple times. All right. Now, I don't mean just going out and blah, 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 blah on a microphone, because has anyone here ever done that? I want to see some hands on this. Anyone ever gone out there? I'm actually going to take this off of here really quick and stop share so I can see. I want to see some hands. Has anyone ever really made a buffoon of themselves in front of a group of people? I know I have. I could put up 2 hands and 2 feet. Paul Grantham's like, yeah. He's like, yeah. I love your background, by the way. That's really cool. Pop in the chat how you got that background. I'm assuming that's a green screen. It looks pretty badass. You're popping off that screen, man. So yeah, we can make a fool of ourselves in front, and I'm here to make sure that you do not blow it when you get your opportunity. Right? I know I don't like to do those negatives, double negatives, or don't blow it. Paul Sagan is famous for that. Right before you go on stage, if you ever speak at Fortune Builders, he'll come up to you and whisper in your ear and be like, "Don't blow it, man. Don't blow it." I'm like, dude, don't you know the power of language? He's a super evolved dude. Don't get me wrong, but he just likes saying that for a joke. You should say, make sure you crush it, not don't blow it. But anyways, another story. All right, so we all are on the same page here. Now, let me pull my screen back up here. And we're going to talk about what it means to be world class, because we can't just be good speakers. We need to be world class speakers. And I'm going to teach you what that means right now. If you want to speak all around the world, if you want to make $10,000 a speech and become an actual keynote speaker or someone who speaks all around the world, I can help you do that. But that's not what I mean by world class. What I mean by world class is becoming like a world-class networker like JJ. Is JJ a world-class networker or what? He absolutely is. The dude, this is another example of it. I was talking to a trainer this morning, and I complimented him at the end, something I say a lot about I believe my abilities as a speaker. I say some people are like chapters deep in something, and some people are books deep, and then some people are like encyclopedia deep with their knowledge, right? And JJ's encyclopedia deep with his knowledge of networking with people and connecting with people. And I feel that I am with speaking. And not that we have to get to that level even to become world class, but this is what I mean by world class. So everybody lock in right here. This is what's available to you. What I mean by world class is when you go out and you speak, whether that's one-on-one to a homeowner or 1 to maybe 10 in a real estate agent's office, where maybe you're doing a presentation to talk about why agents should come and work with investors and what's in it for them. Mr. Mark Abramovich, great to see you on here as well, my friend. We want to be world class. We want to be able to connect with them. How do we connect with them? I loved how JJ said, get to know the person, not the business entity, right? That means speak to their heart. Well, I'm a little bit of a psychology geek. Okay. I've got a psych bachelor's degree. I've got an organizational psych degree, and I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. No, I'm just kidding. I did not, but I do have a psychology master's degree as well. And I've been geeking out on neuroscience and the human condition for like the last 10, 15, 20 years. Okay. So I'm not the foremost expert in the world, but I know more than the average person as it relates to psychology. Okay. And I say all that to say, I'm going to weave in a few things about psychology today, and I want to have a little bit of a platform to stand on. So when we go up and we talk to anybody, whether it's that one person face to face or 10 people on a small little Zoom meeting, or we're speaking to 1,000 people audience, like I like to, like live, no matter which one of those, there is an unconscious psychological barrier that is blocking and standing between you and that other person or those other people. And you're unaware of it most times. And they are definitely unaware of it as well in the audience. Okay. Show your faces, everyone. If you're not showing your face, I see a lot of names right now. I'd like to see some pretty faces out there. All right. And again, feel free to come off mute and give me a boom, give me a breakthrough whenever you feel it down the road. I'm not pandering for them. I'm just trying to tell you to create an optimal learning environment that actually will solidify it in your brain when you say the word breakthrough. So world class means becoming committed to and learning how to identify and become aware of your own unconscious barrier that is there, that stops the connection between you and your audience. And there's more than one generally, and that which is in the way of the audience as well. And it's learning how to speak, not from the head, but speak from the heart, and speak directly to the heart and the soul of that audience. Because it's only until you speak to the heart of the audience that you will actually reach their mind, and then you'll actually inspire action, right? So I know a lot of you are doing this business because you want to grow your income, right? And a lot of you, that's not really the main reason. Really, it's you want to do that so that you can get out of your job, or so that you can spend more time with your family, or so that you can actually go on vacation with your family, or so that you can do some things that you're passionate about, or so that you can give back to worthy causes or make a greater impact in the world, right? Those are some of the reasons why you're in this business. Well, it's my belief that becoming world class as a speaker is the number one way that you're going to be able to impact more people's lives, create more income for yourself, and ultimately impact your own life and the life of your family as well. So that's what I mean by world class, right? So let's dig into that a little bit deeper. Write these down. World class has three main things. How many? Three, right? It has three. Thank you. Oh, I got some verbal on that. Has three, right? Everybody always wants to know, give me the tips, give me the tricks, give me the skills. I used to teach, I used to train sales. I've been in sales for like the last 20 or so years. And they always used to say, give me the tips, give me the tricks. Like, man, you don't need those. That's like the candy. Though you do need them, but what you need even more than that, and I'm going to give you, by the way, my top 7 world-class speaker secrets. Okay, everybody lock in here. Over the last 15 years, I've invested over $250,000 in my education. Okay, I know a lot of you have invested a lot in your education as well, in mentorship, coaches, et cetera. And I've been on thousands of stages, and I've hired some of the very best speakers on the planet to be my coaches. And I've distilled down the top 7 world-class speaker secrets, and I want to give all of them to you, and I'm going to give them to you at the end. Okay. Is anybody stoked to kind of get those world-class speaker secrets? This will allow you to penetrate through that barrier that I talked about and speak from the heart and to the heart and soul of the audience. I'm going to give you those at the end. And I'm going to tell you right now, these next 2 things I'm going to tell you are just as important, if not more important. Okay. Just as important, if not more important. By the way, one of those, top 7 speaker secrets that I'm going to give you, I paid over $5,000 just to get that one. I'm going to give you all 7 for free. And there's a bonus 8th in there as well. All right. So there's a lot of value. So number 2 is authenticity. We write that down. We have to be authentic, right? We have to learn how to move out of our heads. How many times when you are speaking or you're getting ready to speak, you start to go to your head. You're like, oh, what was I going to say? How did I want to start this off again? And you start to remember. Anyone here ever memorize your intro or your speech or anything? Show of hands. Anybody? And I should probably ask this as well. Throw in the chat, who has ever gotten in front of a room and delivered at least a 5-minute speech? I want to know from everybody who has, say 5. Say the number 5 or the word 5, so I can see in the chat. I want to just know, out of how many people do we have on here? We've got about 50 people on right now. A lot of you have done 5 minutes, and it's probably a lot of this has been in real estate, I would imagine. Okay, probably about half of you perhaps have not. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So if you have, or if you haven't, you can probably imagine that you'd be in your head quite a bit. Number 3 is vulnerability. We have to have vulnerability. Write that down. We have to be able to speak not only from our head, but from our heart, like being authentic, but we have to be able to know how to speak to the collective pain. Write that down, the collective pain in the audience. You have to learn how to speak to the collective pain in the audience, and that might be an audience of 1, right? If it's a one-on-one, or that might be an audience of 5, right? A family that you're talking to, or an agent's office, or it might be an audience of 50 or 500. Like this group has 51 on it right now. All right. So we have to learn how to do that. And we have to understand, I love this quote by Maya Angelou, and you probably have heard either me say this or somebody else say this. It's a pretty famous quote. She says, people don't care what you say. They don't remember what you say. People don't care what you do for your business, right? They don't care what you say. They don't care what you do, but they always, always, always remember how you make them feel, right? You've probably heard that before. If you haven't, that is such a brilliant quote, and it's so freaking true. People always remember how you make them feel. So we have to learn how to speak to the collective pain in the room. And we can do that. I can teach you how to do that literally in the first like 10, 20, 30 seconds of your speech. If you're delivering a keynote speech, for example, or even a 5-minute speech, that is so important because it breaks down those barriers and it lets the audience know that this person is here to help them, that there's something that they should listen for and listen to, in that conversation. So skill set, authenticity, vulnerability, those are three of the components, the main building blocks to becoming world-class. So now what does that look like in the real world? Well, that looks like communication, right? It looks like communication. We have to become master communicators. We have to understand psychology. We have to understand the human condition. We have to understand personal growth and development. We have to understand personality, right? The fact that we speak through a lens that's shaped by our personality, and we have to learn how to speak. Did you know that you normally speak to your personality, but not everyone in the crowd has your personality? You have to learn how to speak to everyone in the room, right? You have to learn how to speak to everybody. So that's part of communication. You could go on for all day just on communication. That could be a whole session. And connection, right? JJ talks a lot about connection. We have to learn how to connect with people. We have to learn how to speak to the pain in the room and make sure and know how to build rapport, know how to use the Ford or form strategies and formulas. And we need to learn how to influence, right? This is the higher level skill sets and abilities and really connecting with people from the heart. Does anyone here want to speak on large stages? Write the word large. If you want to speak on large, and by large, I mean like 20 people. I know that's not that large, but if you want to speak on large stages, like 20 plus, or you want to speak a lot, write the word large, because I want to see who wants to, and we'll talk more in a little bit about that. So the question is, can you be world-class? Can you be world-class? Who here thinks that they can be world-class? Can we be world-class? That's the question. We all can be. We all can be, right? Does anyone have any fear about thinking whether you actually can, or any doubt that you can be world-class? Be honest. Be honest. Does anyone have any doubt? Okay. I'm going to teach you right now, again, a little bit of psychology. You may have seen this before, but I'm going to share it with you anyways. We can all become world-class. There's 4 levels of learning. Write these down. The first one is we start off anything being unconsciously incompetent. Unconsciously incompetent. Okay, think about it. Does anyone have kids? Anyone have kids? Yes, kids? I see a lot of hands. Okay. Think about a little kid. If you don't have kids, you were all kid at one time. And little kids do not know how to tie their shoes, right? They don't even know they have feet. Wait. They know they have feet because they're always in their mouth, but they don't really know that they're feet, right? They don't know that they can't tie their shoes. They really don't even know. They're just like, I'm here, man. Deal with it. So you have to put the shoes on, the little booties, and they usually don't have to tie the little booties, but you get what I'm saying. They're unconsciously incompetent. We start everything off in our lives being unconsciously incompetent. Okay? Everything. And then we get a little older and we start to realize, a little kid, like they're, 3, 4, 5 years old, however old they are. And they're like, wow, I got feet and I got shoes and I don't know how to tie my shoes. Right? So now they're consciously incompetent. They're consciously incompetent. Some of you right now don't even know what you don't know about speaking. There are some things you know that you don't know, right? Mm-hmm. Just like there are some things you know that you don't know about real estate. But then there's a lot of things that you don't even know that you don't know. Like you probably learned something new. That's one of the things I love the most about real estate when I was running my business, was that every single day was new. And every single day was like, I would learn something new that I didn't even know I didn't know. That's the beautiful thing. Same thing with speaking. There's a lot you don't know. But there are some things you know that you don't know, and you move into that second level of consciousness. You're consciously incompetent. Like I know that I don't know how to do brain surgery. I know for a fact I don't know how to do it, right? But as we start to become more aware of what we know we don't know, we can choose, if we see value in it, to actually move to the next step. And that is becoming, write this down, becoming consciously competent. Consciously competent. So now we start to learn how to do something and we're conscious of our competence. So think about back when you started learning how to drive a stick shift, right? And you're like, picture, you got a few friends in the car. I see Zach laughing. You look pretty young too, man. That probably wasn't too many years ago. I don't know. Maybe you just got that nice baby face.
That's cool. About 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. So 3 or 4 years ago, like you got your friends in the car, Zach, and like you come up to a hill and you're like, all right, turn the radio down. Everybody be quiet. Shut up. I got to focus. Right. And you're like, all right, put the brake on, put the clutch in, ease the brake out, shit. Okay. Right. And you're like, and you really got to focus. Right. So you're conscious of your competence. You're conscious of your competence. You do the same thing when you go out and you have to do your elevator pitch, right? You have this in your head and you probably got it memorized, which I actually don't recommend memorizing it word for word. I recommend memorizing the intention and the outcome and the number one thing you want them to walk away with in that connection, right? But you get up to that person and you start going in your head and you start to remember what it is you have to say. And it sounds a little robotic, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound robotic when you first start talking to people about raising private money or even getting your first house, right? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Give me some heads. Give me some head nods if I'm on the right track here. It sounds robotic. That's because we're consciously competent. We have to think about it. But the more we go at it, the more that we get guidance and we get correction and we repeat, we get the repetitions. Now we move into another stage, and that is where we become unconsciously competent. That's the fourth level of learning. We become unconsciously competent, right? And now we're literally like, instead of when we're consciously competent, we're tying our shoes, the little kid's like, all right, everybody, let me focus. We got the little bunny ears and we got to wrap. They got that little saying. I don't remember what it is with the little around the tree thing. Now it's like, you're an adult, you're like chewing gum. You got your phone in one ear, you got holding a kid in the other hand. You're petting your dog, and you're tying your shoe all at the same time. And you're thinking about your grocery list, right? You're doing all these things because you're unconsciously competent at tying your shoes. Now that's an overly simplified example, but I hope you really get the power. It's simple to learn anything. So now the question is, how the heck do we do that? How the heck do we do that? Right? Well, we're going to get into that. And I want to prove to you that anybody can become world class. I'm actually going to come off share on this and share this story with you. So first time I had a pretty large speech. I had delivered a couple things in grad school prior to that, but nothing like a speech. I live in San Diego right now. I'm from Massachusetts, where I went to school. And I come out here and I work for a company. It's an intercultural consulting firm. I'm working with Microsoft, Amazon, Cisco, blah, 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 with intercultural consulting. Okay. So we would do all the language training and I would sell all these services to these companies doing mergers and acquisitions overseas. But I was the only one. I was like in a little boutique firm called Intercultural inside of the largest relocation company on the planet at the time. I don't know if it is anymore. It's called Cardis now. It used to be called Sendent Mobility back then. And so they would literally do all the moving of all these families. When Microsoft would buy a plant in China or open up a new plant, they would move all the families, the US families that would go over there and would live there and work there, right? And I was this little tiny division inside of this massive company. I was the only person in my division that flew out to and lived in Southern California to work in the office in Mission Viejo in Orange County. And I was a total outsider. So you got the world of it, right? Total outsider. Long-standing account managers with big companies, like big accounts like Microsoft, Amazon, et cetera. But he's got these relationships, JJ talks, that are so powerful, they're so important. And I'm this outsider selling a high ticket boutique service, and it's going to potentially take dollars away from their account services that they provide to this client. So I'm not really looked at with welcome arms, if you can get the picture, even though I work for the same company. So I had to build a relationship with all these account managers. And I finally get in with this guy named Daniel. And Daniel, man, I used to call him Mr. UPS because I would always wear brown on brown with shorts. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? But anyways, Daniel, he let me in the door with Dial Corporation out in, I think they're bought out now. They're owned by Henkel. But Dial soap, right? And so we go out to Phoenix, Arizona, and we're in this conference room, and I get up to share what I'm going to share. And my brain literally goes like completely flat. It's just like, I'm like flatline. It's like a sheet of ice, like a sheet of freaking ice. I don't remember. I'm like, what is my name? Where am I? I don't even know what the hell I'm doing here. Nothing came to me. It was a train. Jeff's laughing because he's probably had something like this happen to him. It was an absolute train wreck. Like 5 minutes in, I started kind of getting a few words out of my mouth, but still 5 minutes in, it was a gong show. If you ever remember the show back in the day, the Gong Show, somebody should have gonged me. Okay. Daniel is freaking out. This dude looks like an ape with like this red beet, like raspberry head. It's ready to pop off his head. He just wants me off that freaking stage. He wants me out from in front of that audience. We're talking to high-level executives at Dial Corporation, and I am just fumble effing my way through this thing. It was an absolute train wreck. And, you know, I did get one sale at the end of that. I think they threw me a pity sale. I think they threw me a pity sale. But I'll tell you what, it was so jarring to my system. And it was so embarrassing. And I was mortified to get on stage again. So fast forward, I'm gonna throw my slides up again to share one of my mentors. I meet this guy. His name is Justin. And Justin is a dude, we were in real estate, and he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And he gave me opportunities when I didn't think I deserved them at the time. But picture this, one day, I'll just fast forward and tell you this story. We used to hold these events every week in our office, and it'd be about 40 people in the conference room. So this day, we're walking down the hallway, all glass walls, all glass doors to this conference room. Okay. We're walking down the hallway, and we get to the door, and all 40 people in that room, all 40 people, right, turn and like, whoop, and they look over at us. And right at that moment, Justin he flips me the clicker, and he's like, "You're on today, buddy." He opens the door and he walks in, and I am just left absolutely stunned. Like, again, mortified. Dial Corporation's like right in front of my face. That's all I can think of. I walk in, I start, like, my knees are knocking, my chest is all tight. I'm like sweating profusely. Like, I needed a towel. And it was like another train wreck. But eventually I end up settling in, and I end up recalling some of the things that Justin shared with me. And one of those things is that growth is never comfortable. One of the things you say all the time is growth is never comfortable. And I kind of stole this from him. Growth is never comfortable, but it's always worth it. Growth is never comfortable, but it's breakthrough. Awesome. Type that in the chat, man. I want to see who said that. Breakthrough. Love it. Yeah. Growth is never comfortable, but it's always worth it. It's always worth it on the other side. Always, 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 always. And look, I guess I still did attribute that to him. They say in the speaking world, if you say something 3 times from stage, it's yours, baby. But Justin, that is Justin. So it's just not, right? It's not comfortable, but it's okay. When you do it, you break through, you have a quantum leap. And it was that day that I had a quantum leap in my confidence. I didn't have a quantum leap as a speaker. That does not happen overnight. You do not become a world-class speaker overnight, right? But I had a quantum leap in my confidence, in my belief of what was possible, right? In my belief of what was possible. So fast forward a couple of months later, and now I'm actually getting on stages where I know that I'm going to be on stage. He's not like throwing me a curveball at the last minute. And this is like 15 years ago, at least. This is a long time ago. Look at baby face here. Long time ago. This is Mission Valley. I remember this day. It's such a visceral experience in my life, because I'm literally in this exact presentation. I had such connection with that audience, such rapport with that audience. Think about you speaking to your homeowners. You want to have this kind of connection with your homeowners, with your lenders, with the people that you speak. Maybe you speak at an agent's office, for example. I had so much connection in that room. You could cut that emotion with a knife. You could feel it. It was palpable. It was tangible. You could touch it and feel it. So much so that about 45 minutes into my speech, I was tingling. I was vibrating, man. I literally looked out in the audience and I said, "Do you guys feel that?" And they're like, "Yeah, keep going." And it was so amazing. And that was the day I got absolutely hooked, like hooked on speaking. And I'm not here positing or saying that any of you are going to get that level of hooked. Some of you will. There are some people on this call that just feel a calling that you're supposed to maybe not be a keynote speaker, and that's a professional thing you want to do, but you have a calling to impact people. And you know that you feel called to serve with your mouth as a speaker, or somebody who speaks, if that feels a little better for you. I know there's some of you on the call, and even those of you who are not, right? You want that level of connection with your clients, don't you? You want that level of connection with your clients. It doesn't have to get all warm and fuzzy and gushy, right? I am here in Southern California, so I can get away with some of the airy-fairy stuff. Maybe you can't where you are. I don't mean going to that level, right? But what I do mean is you want to have that connection that JJ talks about. And man, you can get there. I'm telling you, you can get there with what I'm talking about today. So that's the day I got hooked. And man, from there, the sky's been the limit. I've had such a great opportunity to speak with fortune builders. Bottom left is obviously a fortune builder stage. Thank you so much to, I don't remember, one of the coach's wives took that picture and just totally impromptu. And of course, we're doing a crush it there, as you know. Love that picture. That's like a career photo right there, man. I love that. And has been able to speak all around the world. The top left is in England. Bottom right, I spoke with Eric Thomas. I've spoken on stage with him several times, the hip hop preacher. He calls himself the #1 motivational speaker in the world. I'm not one to challenge him on that. He's pretty cool dude. And then the one in the top right is one of the biggest speaking opportunities I've ever done as well, out in San Bernardino. It was a massive stage. So much fun. This is stuff I geek out on. Again, I'm not saying that you plan on doing that, but becoming a world-class speaker is going to help you in every area of your life. It's going to give you more leadership, more opportunity. It's going to give you more power, more confidence, more self-esteem, more clients, more money. And like I said before, man, he or she with a microphone always wins. It's just going to give you the opportunity to make a greater impact in the world. It really is. And I know some of you are out to cause an impact. So now I'm going to teach you right now some things. I'm going to teach you 3 things. How many? 3. You all still, we all still awake? All right. I love it. The 3s are coming up. Thank you, Mr. Fallon. Thank you, James. All right. Everything you want to do in your life, we got to go through those 3 levels of learning. And there's another everything right here. Everything in your life starts with awareness. Every new thing in your life, any good thing in your life, anything that you want in your life, it always starts with a level of awareness first. It doesn't just happen, right? I'm breaking this down into principles. Will you allow me to do that real quick? Principles, right? And so many people, I'm going to share with this really quick so you see my eyes on this, okay? Principles are often undervalued. And I want to teach you right now and get your buy-in that you're not going to do that right now. Because write this quote down, and I didn't come up with this quote. This is Stephen Covey says he said it back in the day, and Lao Tzu, 1,000 years ago, says he said it. I don't know who the heck said it, but it's powerful. And it's this: to know and not to do is not to know. Okay, write that down. To know and not to do is not to know. Maybe somebody typed that in the chat. To know and not to do is really not to know. You really don't know. If you're not doing it, and when you know it especially, so if any of you say right now, I know that, if you ever say that in any one of your Fortune Builders classes or any one of JJ's teachings, or if you're on a call with Mark Abramovich or Jeff Fallon or anyone else that's teaching, right, or Paul JP Kilduff, one of my other students, if you ever find yourself saying, I know this already, smack yourself. I'm telling you, give yourself one of those, or have one of these and go like that. I'm telling you, this actually works. It's a silly little exercise, but man, if you ever want to break a habit, wear something like that. Jeff's got one on too. Jeff Fallon. I'm not surprised. Jeff, the coach Fallon. Yep. It works, man. You want to train your brain to not say that because it's bull crap. You don't know. You think you know, but you don't know because you don't know what you don't know. And even when you know it, somebody said this earlier, a very brilliant young lady said, repetition, she didn't say these words, but repetition is the mother of all learning, right? Absolutely. You're going to learn, you're going to be in a different place every single time you learn that thing, and you're going to see something new as long as you're looking. So what's the difference between Michael Phelps and his twin brother that he doesn't have? Let's say he had a twin brother, at same exact body style, same exact strength, everything. Michael Phelps, by the way, is the most highly decorated Olympian of all time. The dude has 27 medals, 28 medals. I believe it's 28 or 27. 23 of them are gold medals. He's an anomaly, okay? Whether you like him or not, doesn't matter. Picture him having a twin brother. The only difference, I'm going to break this down into a principle for you. Do not discount this. And everything I'm going to teach you today is principles. I don't teach tips and tricks. I teach principles because principles work all the time. Tips and tricks fade. Principles work all the time, okay? The only thing that separates Michael Phelps' twin brother that he doesn't have and Michael Phelps himself is the very first building block is awareness. His depth of awareness of water, his depth of awareness of being in a pool, his depth of awareness of his muscles, his depth of awareness of the mindset, his depth of awareness of conditioning, and what do you need to do to actually become a world-class speaker. It all starts, or world-class swimmer. It all comes down to awareness. That is the number one building block to anything in your life you want to grow. So we need to up-level our awareness. I'm going to teach you a way to accelerate your awareness today. We're going to accelerate our awareness today. Awareness, right? We got to up-level our awareness. And once we do that, then we're going to have courage to go out and implement things like the top 7 world-class speaker secrets that I'm going to gift to you at the end. You're going to have the courage to go out and do that. And when you do that, you're going to notice you're going to be in that sort of third level of learning, that conscious competence, because you know it, but you're like, it's kind of like robotic. But when you start to see your audience be impacted differently, you start to inspire different actions. Your audience in your one-on-ones, they start to take new actions based on your level of ability has risen to impact and influence people. When you see that start to happen, you're going to develop more what? More confidence. And when you speak, business happens, right? When you speak, business happens. And even when you have that confidence, you're still not world-class, are you? No. What's the answer in Spanish? No. Right? You're still not world-class. So what do we got to do? We got to go back and we got to deepen our level of awareness, and we have more courage to go out and implement. This is the same thing with every area of your business, by the way. I'm giving you principles. You can apply this to every area, not just speaking and marketing and growing your business through speaking, but every area of your business. Create more awareness, have the courage to implement as you learn new things, and you have more confidence the more that you do that. And guess what? You're still not world-class. You got to go back and deepen your level of awareness. Right? Courage, confidence, awareness, courage, confidence, awareness, courage, confidence. And now you step into the opportunity to become world-class. This is where Mark Abramovich, he's starting to move into that stage because he's deepening his awareness. He's taking the coaching. He has the courage to go out and implement, and he's developing more confidence. And he goes back and does the same thing. He humbles himself every time and goes back to deepening your level of awareness. Are you guys picking up what I'm throwing down here?
Yeah.
All right, Reza. Awesome. JJ, thank you. Love it. So let's talk about a few world-class hacks. This is my man, Michael Phelps right here, the absolute GOAT, greatest of all time. And number one, by far, you got to get the reps, baby. You got to get the reps. You have to get the reps. I'm going to say it again. You have to get the reps, right? When you're learning something new, when JJ teaches you something new about networking, or you learn something from Mark Abramovich or John Paul or Jeff or anyone else that speaks on this call, you've got to go out and actually implement it. You got to go out and implement it. Tony Robbins says, never leave the sight of a new idea without taking action. Never leave the sight of a new idea without taking at least one action. Anyone ever hear of Toastmasters? Show of hands. Give me some hands. Or just say Toastmasters or TM in the chat. They're kind of like a competitor of mine. Not really at all, but kind of. It's kind of more like a companion, right? They teach people how to become better leaders, and you become a better speaker as well. It's a phenomenal organization. It's international. I could talk about that for a half hour on the benefits of joining Toastmasters. But it's not to become a world-class speaker. You won't become a world-class speaker, in my opinion, doing that. You'll learn a lot of things about speaking, and you can become really great at speaking. But there's so much more than being a mechanically good speaker. That's like the skill sets. And they don't even teach some of the stuff I teach. It has nothing to do with the authenticity and the vulnerability. That's what makes you world-class. It's all three of those legs to the stool. Skill set, world-class skill set, right? Authenticity and vulnerability. But what we need to do is we need to find a place like Toastmasters and treat it like a gymnasium, treat it like a fitness gym, because you can go and you can speak every single week, right? Treat it like a gym, because you get an opportunity to speak every single week. It doesn't have to be Toastmasters, but you have to find an outlet. Maybe it's this networking group. I don't know how much opportunity you get to speak. There's other groups that you can also be a part of where you get to go and you get to share your pitch. Go and do that, right? There's an awesome one called toptalentjv.com. Write that down, toptalentjv.com. Check that out. They have networking events. They're all around the world, and you get an opportunity to practice your pitch to amazing people. You'll meet some amazing people in that group, and you're getting the reps, right? So you got to get the repetitions. You don't see one professional athlete that does not get the reps. Am I right or am I right? We're not talking Allen Iverson, right? Where he's like, we talk about practice. We're not talking about game. We're talking about practice, right? No, we are talking about practice, right? Maybe he doesn't need to practice, but you need to practice. You need to get the reps, right? Every single world-class athlete gets the reps in. And in fact, again, I'm learning pickleball right now, and I'm interviewing a lot of the professional pickleball players right now. If you don't know what that is, it's like tennis and ping pong had a baby, and it's a really cool freaking baby, okay? And it's a really fun sport. And I'm learning from the pros. They literally told me how to break through the other day. They said, you need to drill a higher percentage of the time than you actually play. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I want to play. It's so freaking fun. I want to play. They're like, no, you need to drill like 60 to 70% of the time and only play 30% of the time, 40% of the time. Same thing with your business, right? You need to practice. So I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but I want to really get that through. Number 2, when you speak, business happens. But it only happens if people know you speak, right? Sometimes it happens with the people in the room. It happens there, but it happens like tenfold when you capture that and then market that as well and show other people that you're speaking. Would it not make you look like a more professional speaker, more professional real estate investor if people start seeing little images of you literally on this call, even if you're not speaking on JJ's networking group, but you do an image like this, and maybe you get approval with JJ to say, hey, let me take a picture like this with everyone and let me share for 30 seconds what I do like he did earlier. You just spoke. You just spoke. Now you post that one image out on Facebook, and now not only are you attending cool events, but you're speaking at cool events. You're not lying and saying you just did a keynote speech for a half hour. No, but you just spoke at an event, right? So share that. And the other main reason is you remember we talked about accelerated awareness techniques. You got to watch the game tape. You don't have one professional athlete that does not watch the game tape after they're done speaking or after they're done playing. There's not one on the history of the planet that does not watch the game tape. So you've got to watch the game tape. Literally, you go out and you do a networking event or you do a Zoom and you want to practice your elevator pitch. Don't just do it. Do a screen record or set up your phone and record yourself. Because then you can watch it back and be like, wow, everybody really responded when I told this story. And wow, there's a lot of heads bobbing when I told that. Or wow, everybody like shut off or were turned off when I said that, right? I figured out that some people didn't like when I said he or she who holds the mic always wins by watching game tape. And I saw somebody like got turned off by it. So now I just throw in that little precursor. I'm not trying to be arrogant. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to make a point that you have more impact and ability to impact people, right? So watch the game tape. You deepen your level of awareness massively by watching the game tape, right? This is not rocket science. These are principles. You want to become world class? You all agreed you wanted to become world class. Yes? You all agreed that you believe becoming a world class speaker is going to help you grow yourself and expand who you are and your power in the world, and it's going to help you grow your business. Yes or yes? You all agreed that. And you all agreed that even if you don't want to become a speaker that speaks all around the world, becoming a world-class effective speaker is going to help you grow. I'm telling you exactly how to do that. Watch the film, right? And number 3 is you got to hire a coach. You have to have a coach. You have to have a mentor, right? You have to have somebody that can see things in your videotape that you just cannot see, Zach. You just can't see them because you're at a different level of awareness, right? You're at conscious competence. And even when you get to unconscious competence, you think Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan weren't at unconscious competence? Of course they were. They still had a coach. That's called mastery. That's the 5th level of learning, mastery. That's where like your Yoda or your mentor, and that's why I love this example here, because your mentor is very different than your coach. Your mentor can also be your coach, but your coach can't always be your mentor. The reason why Phil Jackson was such a good coach is because not only because he was a great coach, it's because he was a great player, right? He wasn't Michael Jordan, but he had 2 world championship rings as a player. He'd been there, done that, right? So he can be a mentor more than just a coach. That's why I say hire a mentor, not just a coach. Don't just hire a great coach. Hire someone that's doing what it is that you want to do or has had the success level that you want to have. And they're going to see around the corner that you're just not going to see that level of awareness. We've got to do that, right? So we got to get repetitions. Write these down. Maybe take a screenshot at the end of this. We got to get the repetitions, right? We got to get guidance, the appropriate guidance. Because you know how often or how long the first space shuttle, when it went to the moon, was on course as a percentage of the time? Like 3% of the time it was on course. And they had this massive support team and unit and all this technology in Texas, right? Massive. And they were only on course 3% of the time, right? Constantly it was guidance and correction, guidance and correction, guidance and correction before you get off course, before you start developing bad habits, before you start doing things the wrong way long enough. And all of a sudden they're challenging to get corrected. And then we got to go back down to more repetitions, right? We don't become world class after that. We got to do more repetitions. When we speak, business happens, right? Speaking begets speaking. It creates more opportunities. I'll give you an elegant referral system that, man, you will get referrals for days from stage just by saying what I got a very simple, elegant script. You can do that. And you go back and you do more repetitions. You get more guidance and more correction, more repetitions, guidance, correction, repetition, guidance, correction. And then you become world class as a networker, as a speaker, as an investor, as an entrepreneur. These are entrepreneurial skills. These aren't just real estate investing skills. These are life skills, right? Like Warren Buffett, number one skill you can grow in your life right now, right? So I challenge all of you. I challenge all of you to really get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? I challenge you to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I know that speaking can be uncomfortable, but I'm telling you the benefits that you will receive when you learn how to go out and be powerful. And I want to share one story in closing here around this. You'll be so powerful and so empowered and have so much more confidence. And also you're going to have so much better results, right? You're going to help more people. You're going to have more deals. You're going to get to your first deal or your 50th deal faster when you become a world-class speaker, right? When you learn how to get the repetitions, get the guidance, get the correction, develop the awareness, have the courage to go out and implement what it is that you're learning from your coach or from some of the tips, secrets I'm going to give you. And then you develop that confidence, right? You're going to grow so massively. But an unexpected, beautiful story. One of my coaching students, Mark, knows this story. He's one of the students in the group that I coach with Mark. His name is Rob. He's actually a real estate investor for the last 30, 40 years. He's a real estate agent. So it's really relevant to you guys as well. And what happened to him is also very relevant to a lot of us as well. It's going to happen to every single one of us if it hasn't happened already. And, my heart goes out to you, JJ, and being strong for, you losing a family member recently. And you've been so strong and so supportive of so many people. And I just want you to know we're all here for you if you need anything from us. Yeah, thank you. And this same thing happened to Rob. His mom passed away. And it was in the second experience of him and I coaching together. We're pretty much coaching one-on-one now in a very, very small group. And we coached in a larger group prior to that. So he's had a lot of work on this and becoming a world-class speaker. And one of the best things that I've ever had one of my students share with me, and I'm going to paraphrase here. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he basically said, Clinton, without this coaching, without the ability to feel confident and comfortable and know how to break through that barrier in myself and access speaking from my own heart and out of my head and being able to reach the heart and the soul of the people in the audience. He said, because I had that ability, I truly had the opportunity to truly honor my mom in a really powerful way and impact everyone in that room and allow them to really feel a meaningful experience and memory of his mom. And so many times we've all been to funerals and they just don't go that way because people don't have the ability. And sometimes, when people are emotional and I was moved right there too. That ain't fake, by the way. Never fake your emotions on stage, by the way. That just happened. To be able to authentically speak from the heart but not only do it in like a blithering way where that can be moving as well if somebody's just so moved, right? But when you're able to do that, but also compose yourself and impact the room because you have skills and you've done the repetitions, you've done the work, and you have that level of awareness and that confidence and the courage, man, that is truly magical. And that is why I do what I do. That is my new reason for why I do what I do when he told me that story, because that was so powerful to me. And it made me feel really good that he was able to honor his mom that way. I know that every one of you likely wants the world-class speaker secrets, and JJ is going to make sure that you all get them. And that's totally free. Absolutely 100% free is 7 of my world-class speaker secrets that you literally, if you just have the courage to go out and implement these, it'll rock your world. Absolutely rock your world. And when you get them and you go through them and you have questions, you can schedule a call with me and I can help you with them as well. But if you're serious, I can do that for you. But I'm going to give all that to you. And there's actually a bonus 8th in there as well. Okay, there's a bonus 8th one in there as well. Those will rock your freaking world. Okay. I see $10,000 an hour speakers not doing some of the things that I teach in that. And you're going to know all those things. I know that there's some of you in this room, I know, that are serious about really taking your speaking to that next level, and you're freaking ready. And you are somebody that is like excited. You're ready to do the work. You're excited to be uncomfortable and get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I know that there are some of you out there. And for those of you who do fit that mold, I want to talk to you and I want you to schedule a time with me. Now, these time slots, I only have 7 time slots, and that's not like scarcity. You look at my calendar, I have 7 time slots till the end of this month. And for those of you who do want to work with me, want to learn what it would look like to work with, they're not committing to anything, but learn what it would look like, and you're serious about getting a mentor to help you and a coach to help you. I do have 7 spots available to schedule a one-on-one breakthrough call with me, and it's my world-class speaker blueprint that I will teach you. And I will walk into your exact situation, get into your world, and I'll let you know how we can help you become a world-class speaker. I also want to make sure that everybody does connect with me on LinkedIn or wherever you'd like. I tend to say yes more on LinkedIn than I do on Facebook, because I get like thousands of requests on Facebook, but I'll probably say yes if you message me and say, hey, I sent you a request on Facebook.